All right. Hello, YouTube. Bookham Dano here with the Peanut.
And Oliver Queen.
And Oliver Queen, yeah. So today what we're going to do, a little bit different from our usual like haul videos and unboxings and stuff like that. We each have some trade picks.
Graphic
novels that have meant a lot to us individually, and we thought we'd share them with you. And since everyone's supposed to be home occupying themselves, we figured pointing out a few good reads might be helpful. So let's get started.
Who's gonna go first?
Why don't you go first?
Ladies
Ladies first.
Okay, and we have little cheat sheets, so we'll go by.
Yeah, and these little summaries are from Goodreads. The website Goodreads. But
okay, so my first pick is Ladykiller. This is basically what got me when Dan started to get into comics. I didn't know what to read because I didn't think I was a superhero type of genre type of person. So he actually bought this for me, and it stood on the shelf for a couple weeks. But when I got into it, it was amazing. So basically, Ladykiller. Betty Draper, if you guys have ever watched Mad Men, she's one of the characters, meets Hannibal. How fun is that mashup, right? So it's a picture-perfect housemaker, wife, and mother, but she's also a ruthless, efficient killer for hire. A brand new original comedy series that combines the wholesome imagery of early 1960s domestic bliss with a tightening web of murder, paranoia, and cold-blooded survival, which is just fun. So it's by Joelle Jones and Jamie S. Rich. And we've actually met Joelle Jones couple times.
Yep, C2E2.
At C2E2. And as you can see in here, the art is so divine. And being an artist, that's kind of what I get drawn to is the art. The story's awesome, but if the art is good, I'll stick with the story even if it's bad, if that makes sense.
But the story's good.
The story is so good, especially if you have a partner that's not really into comics yet and they don't really know a jumping off point. I would say Ladykiller for me it sealed the deal. I've officially found kind of like my niche, so to speak. So definitely recommend Ladykiller. There is a volume 2. I have not read that one yet. I'm just assuming that you can kind of see she's very like Jackie O right there. It's so fantastic.
Yeah, we don't have the trade for volume 2, but we do have the individual issues. So if you want to read those.
Yeah.
Also, there is a new hardcover library edition coming out, which puts volume 1 and volume 2 together with a bunch of Joelle Jones sketches, preliminary work for the title. So we're excited to get that. It doesn't come out for a while yet. But,
really the aesthetics are super vintage and amazing. And
this Betty Draper meets Hannibal. That's kind of cool. But personally, I like I describe it to people as what if Dexter was the Avon lady.
Ooh. Okay, there you go. So many images for you guys. So this is definitely top pick. This is my first pick, I would say.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Okay.
What do you got for us,
So
Danny?
I've talked about this before, but Hush by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Or I'm sorry, not Tim Sale. It's Jim Lee and Scott Williams. Mm-hmm. But this is the first... when I first started getting into comics, and I kind of walked into the comic store and talked to Greg Karras from Galactic Greg's, and he suggested reading some of the trades to get started with, so that there were some good stories. And I think he must have recommended this one. I read it and was just immediately hooked, and it's a great one to get started.
If you don't know where to start with Batman, you start with Hush, I would say.
Yeah, there's like almost all of the main villains are in it at some point or another, so that's really cool. And then the whole thing with Jason Todd. I mean, this is from from like 15 years ago, so it's not really spoilers or anything, but, Jason Todd was killed back in the day, and he actually comes back in here and then, goes on to become Red Hood and everything. So that's just a really good thing. The Goodreads summary is Hush is a thrilling mystery of action, intrigue, and deception, and illustrated by comic superstar Jim Lee. It's written by Jeff Loeb. Batman sets out to discover the identity of a mysterious mastermind using the Joker, Riddler, Ra's al Ghul, and other enemies as allies and pawns in a plan to wreak havoc. So it's just a really good kind of way to get back into Batman, I think, or even get started.
It's a good jumping off point to, if you want to start collecting Batmans or get into Batman, this is a good way, because it kind of, like, the last part of that, all his villains are in it.
Yeah, all the villains are in there, and it's a great, detective story, because he's trying to unravel this mystery, and of course there's a new big villain in it as well. What do you got next?
Oh, okay, so this one is amazing. The Silence of Our Friends. And I reread it last night. This is so amazing to me. I'll just read you the Goodreads really quick. So, 1960s Texas, a white family from a notorious racist neighborhood and a black family from its poorest ward cross Houston's color line, overcoming humiliation, degradation, and the violence to win the freedom of 5 black college students unjustly charged with the murder of a policeman. The Silence of Our Friends draws from the childhood of Mark Long, who, with co-author, I'm totally going to murder his name, I apologize, Jim
Demonicus
has created a powerful portrait of the volatile moment in U.S. history with art from Nate Powell. If you've read March, he does the art, and the art is just to die for. It's so amazing. I will say there's a couple things that stand out in this book. Just the cover says, the civil rights struggle was never black and white. And then when you go and you look at the illustrations, it's all black and white, and it's very symbolic to me. And I was reading this last night, and this is the second printing, so I would recommend getting the second printing, because the introduction that's written is so powerful. It made me cry. And there's one of my favorite quotes from William Faulkner, starts out with the introduction. The past is never dead. It's not even past. And if you've ever been through anything in life, you know that the past is never gone. We're always in it.
True fact.
And so anyway, so as you go through, you kind of, you get to know this family, and you get to know the kids of each of the families and how they come together in this very volatile time, and simple things that the kids say to each other, just wanting to know about the other person's race or what their family is like, and how they bond through their similarities. And then at the very end, because the title of the graphic novel, I was like, why have I heard that before? And then last night, I don't know why last night, just kind of struck me. It says, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So it is, it will make you think. If you have kids at home that you're like, I'm done, I'm trying to transfer you out of my class because I don't want to teach you anymore, I would recommend this book. This book teaches me a lot as an adult. I think it can teach kids. I don't have kids, but this is a book I would give my children of a certain age, I mean, whatever age that might be, just to kind of open their eyes a bit. And really, really powerful. this is amazing. March, which we'll do in another video, is another one that just really, it cut to my heart. I've always been interested in the civil rights era and wanting to know everything about it, and this is very eye-opening. I recommend it. This is
I have not read this yet, so I need to do
this. One's going on his nightstand tonight to read. So.
Yeah.
So
all right.
What do you got?
Thank you. All right. Everyone has heard of Scott Snyder, his superhero stuff, Batman, Justice League, completely epic. And probably most people know he writes really good horror stuff. But I think this one is a little bit under the radar, at least in the Scott Snyder, among the Snyderverse fans. So this is called Severed. It's a one-shot. Well, it's a 7-issue story, but it's complete. It's not. One of the things that's intimidating sometimes about comics and graphic novels is that some of these stories go on for 50 issues, and it's can be a little bit overwhelming. But this is a contained 7-issue story. It's not that not too big of a bite, to work on. So it's a fantastic story. It's really scary. I had before I read it, I had my doubts that a comic book could actually be scary.
You stopped for like a week because you were like, "This is scary."
Yeah.
I read it first, and then I was.
She read it first. The art is really amazing, but the story is it's good. And like I said, compelling. If you're just looking for something to read where you don't have to make a commitment of 6 months to get through everything, Subvert is fantastic. So let me just read the.
So what's it? So it's an.
In 1916, a man haunts the roads, a man with sharp teeth and a hunger for flesh. When 12-year-old Jack Garron runs away from home, he'll see how quickly the American dream becomes a nightmare. And it's, I don't know, it's just, it'll get you. It's a good story. By Oliver.
Hi, Ollie.
What's next on your list?
Oh, boy. Okay, so you guys are in for a treat. The Fadeout. Okay.
This is amazing. I've read this.
It comes in 3 volumes, and I think they did release like all of them together. But the story, you have to read Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So, The Fadeout, I'll just read it's an epic graphic novel of old Hollywood in the early days of the Blacklist. The Fadeout tracks the murder of an up-and-coming starlet from studio backlots to the gutters of downtown Los Angeles as a shell-shocked frontman, Charlie Parrish, is caught between his own dying sense of morality and his best friend's righteous sense of justice. This is so it's by Ed Brubaker and drawn by the illustrator Sean Phillips.
Yep.
This blew my mind away, and I love anything and everything old Hollywood, and I love the gritty old Hollywood noirs. That's my favorite movie genre, is noirs. And this is, I will say, this is the first one that's cast of characters, and you'll see all of them. The illustrations are amazing. The story is so compelling. If you are somebody that likes to watch TCM and noirs, and you like, say, for instance, Double Indemnity, which is considered one of the best noirs out there, what they created was basically that. It's not that story. I'm not giving anything away. I don't want to give anything away because I want you to read it. But it has everything that a good noir has, and I hope that they just keep it in the graphic novel because I don't want this to be ruined. That's how amazing this is.
Yeah. Brubaker is just such an amazing writer, and his partner Phillips with the art, it just works so well. They do this again and again and again in their criminal series and some of the other ones.
Fatal
but if you like say L.A. Confidential, that's not even well, it's old probably to most of you watching, but it's not a 1940s movie, although it's kind of set in that time.
It's set in that time, but it definitely has it definitely has like an LA Confidential type of
asphalt jungle. If you want to go back in the day,
if you want to go old school Marilyn, one of her second films, which
highly recommend that. Yeah, she's just got a minor role in it, but it's such a great movie.
Yeah, so this will keep you intrigued. It will make you think that you're reading a movie script. I mean, it is so good. I recommend this so highly. I recommended it to Danny, and it took him a couple of years. It took him years to read it. I was like, please. Hey,
I got a long list. All right, I got a stack on my nightstand. It takes me a while to get to things, but I'm so happy with it.
I wanted him to read it so we could talk about it. I was just so excited when he finally did, and he was like, "It is good. It's so amazing." And so definitely Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, the Fadeout. Absolutely, this is a must if you just want to turn off the news and read something. I recommend these.
All right. Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, something really epic, and it was a new thing for me, but I really enjoyed it, and that is Silver Surfer Black. If you watch the videos from us, you know that I'm mostly a Batman/DC guy. Haven't read a lot of Marvel stuff. Don't have anything, against it. It just, there's only so much time in the day for reading. So, but I heard so many good things about this, and I read the first issue when it came out in comic shops, and then when this really cool Treasury-sized trade came out, I picked that up, and
that's cool.
It's really amazing.
The art's
fantastic.
The art
is just like mind-blowing.
And I will say I'm not a fan. I will say I am not a fan of a lot of Marvel art. I think DC does a lot better with that, or independent, like Boom, Image, and stuff. But when I was going through this, I was like, yeah, I can get on board. I like that.
So this is Donny Cates is the writer who's check out this.
That's
just amazing. These oversized pages are just wonderful. So this is a fantastic story. It's a 5-issue story. But it was so good that another character that I've never really read is Thor. And when I saw Donny Cates was going to restart he started with a new issue of #1 on Thor, I picked that up. And, it kind of comes out of this storyline. So that has been really fun for me. So I'm picking up Thor now when it comes out. It's on my pull list. And it's, one of the first times I've had like a Marvel superhero book on my pull list. So,
really?
Yeah, those are some of the variant covers.
Yeah.
They're amazing. I've got a copy of that. That's the 1 in 25 variant. Awesome. But this story has some really epic things happen in it, and I think one day it's really going to be appreciated for that, as almost a reset for a bunch of the Marvel universe. Maybe that's a little dramatic, but it really it's Donny Cates, so maybe not overly dramatic. Very, very good. Highly recommend it.
All right, so now we're down to our last ones. We picked 4. This was this one.
You get started with that. I'm going to be right back with something that we actually just got.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday.
Wonderful. Okay, Huck. As you can see, so many stars, and for so many different reasons. I'll just read you what it's about. If you've not picked up Huck, I would recommend Huck. In a quiet seaside town, Huck uses his special gifts to do a good deed each day. His neighbors return the favor by keeping his abilities a secret, and when a newcomer alerts the media, a firestorm erupts, sending Huck on an adventure that will change everything. So when you first meet Huck, somebody describes him as slow, and somebody quickly reminds the person that he's not slow, he's special. And Huck doesn't have a family. He was dropped off with just a note that said, please love him. And Huck does all these wonderful things. He has a good deed list, and he fulfills them every day. And there's a little bit of superhero kind of in there. When I first read it, I cried. I really resonated with Huck because a lot of people don't think that I am smart or I can do things. They can't go past whatever they see. Or maybe...
She's a little bit easy to underestimate.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend doing that.
Don't do it, yeah. But so when I read this, I related with Huck. And I think there's a lot of people that can relate with Huck that do things and don't want the attention of what they do. It's just something that they do for their own self. And there's a good lesson in this book. I would give it, one Christmas I was like, we need to give all of my stepkids, I was like, all the stepkids or kids need to have this book. And I think I even recommended my stepdaughter to read it because she has a great channel, Love Learning Every Day. If you're a homeschooler, secular homeschool. Totally.
Yeah, she's got a great YouTube channel. Check it out.
So,
Love Learning Every Day.
Love Learning Every Day. And it just, like I said, I read it again last night, and I was already tearing up from the silence of our friends, and I was like, I cannot cry anymore. So I put it down because I had read it so many times that I know it. And
it's kind of almost like a Forrest Gump feel, right?
A little, yeah, definitely. And
there's this innocence about it, but he's a really good guy, and he's all he's trying to do is do a good deed for people, and then of course people come in and kind of try to manipulate him. Yeah,
and then there's kind of like a twist. He has a lot of strength, so he can lift cars up. And the people that really love him, they just know that he's special, and they're just gonna let him be there. So, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. It will pull at your heartstrings. And then yesterday,
yesterday our local comic shop, Galactic Greg's in Valparaiso, did a Facebook Live. Matter of fact, they did a series of Facebook Live sales. Today this weekend they had scheduled one of their quarterly sales. They decided to cancel that because, everything going on. So they're all curbside service right now. But they did this Facebook sale, and so this is a copy of Huck #1, and it's signed by Mark Miller, which is awesome. And we got it at a great price. I think it was $10.
And in the comic book room that we have a 9.8.
We do of this cover, which is the Field of Dreams variant for #1, which is our favorite cover of it. So it just seemed kind of perfect. Anyway, it's a great story.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
It's really good.
It's another one where you don't have to make this big commitment to it. It's just a 1 volume. I think it's 6 issues, and it's a complete story. So it's a great thing to pick up and
definitely
do that. Thank you.
All
right. Now my last one.
The last one. What do we got?
Thought I wanted to go with something kind of fun here.
I was surprised that he picked this one. I thought he was gonna, when we were talking about which ones we were gonna pick, and then this morning when he kind of finally decided, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, because I know how much you love that one.
Yeah, I do, and it's I've been reading. Right now I'm reading Star Trek Year 5, the first volume of that, which has been really good. I'm a huge original series Star Trek fan, and Planet of the Apes. I mean, if you're not a Planet of the Apes fan, what's wrong with you? But this is a one of those mashups, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes, that just works perfectly. And I really enjoyed it. The art's pretty cool. It's got all the main characters from both worlds, and they interact just the way you would imagine they would, and all of the dialogue seems exactly right, spot on. So I just thought this is a fun thing. So if you're looking for just a distracting read that has some nostalgia in it, if you like the Star Trek and Planet of the Apes, Bronze Age stuff.
Yeah, something that's not so heavy. I mean, some of mine were heavy, but so Dan pointed out to me today how cool the title was. What is the full title?
Oh, it's the Primate Directive, which, Star Trek is the Prime Directive. And
so, play on word. I love a good play on words. So, the hope for the best of mankind future, Planet of the Apes, chilling look at the fall of humanity. How could these worlds possibly collide? What could possibly cause Captain Kirk and his crew, the Enterprise, to side with Dr.
Zaius.
I know Planet of the Apes. Okay, when they're on, I know them. To protect Ape City. And what does Colonel George Taylor have to say about it? So I know, like, when he picked this up, I was like, what are you doing? This is weird. But he read it really, really fast, and that's when I know, like, he's really engaged. And, the art is really cool, and I love when they do these kind of mashups. And it's a 50-50. It can fail or it can be really good, and I think this one was good. So,
yeah.
Those are our picks, guys.
Our trade paperback picks. So,
and we'll keep doing this because in our household we read. We love to read. So pick up something, distract yourself, and
you try to use this time to learn something or turn off that TV news for a while because it's not really helping anyone at this point.
Just do it for a little bit. Pick up something for the kiddos, something for you, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.